The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Hello and welcome to The People's View. Today we have Nancy Elliot, a political activist here from New Hampshire and also chair of the National Republican Women's Federation. That's right. Right?
Yeah.
Very good, Nancy. How's everything going with your political activity? I hear you're going different places just to talk about the laws that are trying to be made for I don't know, assisted suicide is one of them, and other types of end care.
Yes. Well, I've been doing that for a while. I got involved when I was on the Judiciary Committee. I was a state rep, as you know, and they brought on that committee. They brought all the end-of-life bills, anything that had to do with life at all in general. But one of the bills that we got had to do with ending people's lives. And so I got interested in the subject. And after I left the legislature, I was contacted by people that do that. They go around helping fight assisted suicide laws, euthanasia laws. And so I've been doing that for about 9 years. And we started an organization about a little over 2 years ago, and I'm the chair of Euthanasia Prevention Coalition USA.
Very good. So does it have you traveling further around or just in the New England area?
There's actually quite a bit of traveling involved. I had cut back the last year or so, but I've traveled to different states trying to help them with messaging and that kind of thing. I've gone to Montana and Colorado. Obviously, the New England states. I've gone to some of them, and in Ohio we did a training session out in Ohio, and they were very good out there. They've been able to stop this kind of laws.
Very good. Well, what are the key things in the proposed laws that you focus on?
Well, the other side will say that it's your choice.
Right.
And one of the things that I focus on is that it's not necessarily your choice. You know, the way these laws are written is that you go to a doctor, and when you're there, you ask for the prescription, and then after 15 days, you have to ask again, and then they'll give you the medication. But it's not in real life, it's not really as tidy as that. So you can go to the doctor, and your heir can go with you. Your heir can speak for you. Your heir can go, you can be sitting here, and your heir can say, yeah, Grandma would like those pills, you know? And so that's allowed. And
it doesn't have to be your delegated medical
power of attorney. It can be anybody who you let go with you.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, there's no restrictions on what people. You could have 3 or 4 of your family come in and kind of override you. Not that I'm not saying that always happens, but it can. And even if you're thinking, you know, I'll just get them just in case, you know, or I'll get them because get my family off my back. I'll put them in the medicine cabinet. I'll never take them. Anybody can pick them up for you. So
that was what I heard too. It surprised me. You don't have to be there when somebody gets the medication.
Nope, and there's no witness at the death required. So if somebody gave it to you against your wishes, there's no one to know. You know, who would know? They're not there. You know, they could put it in your applesauce.
That's right.
They could, you know, put it in a drink. You know, just say, here's a special drink, chug it down. And you've signed up for it. The death certificate is going to say that you died of the underlying causes. So in other words, a natural death. They don't, on the death certificate, it says a natural death, so you can't even go back and, if they think something's wrong, if something went wrong, you can't even, it's almost next to impossible to prosecute because you died of a natural death.
Oh boy, there's no sign that you took something that sort of helped you along.
No, and all the records are destroyed.
Huh.
So, I have a friend who's a lawyer out in Seattle, and she's had a client who tried to get the scoop on what happened to his father, and they even stonewalled the police.
Really?
The policeman was able to get the information through the Compassion and Choices group, which is the pro-suicide group. They keep records, but nobody else has them.
Oh my gosh. And so it doesn't, you could, think you have everything legally set up, for your, whatever happens to you, whether it's financial or medical or whatever, and you've designated somebody to act as your, for you in those areas. So that doesn't count anymore.
It would count, if you were incapacitated, that would count. But when people get old, they get fragile. They're very easily persuaded to do things that really they didn't want to do. So, that's a problem. That's a problem. It's also a problem with people who are disabled because they've been told, a lot of them have been told their whole life they're terminal. And if they didn't have the things they need, like a caregiver and help and, somebody to do things for them, their meds, they are terminal. And so they feel that this is aimed at them. And if you think about it, in order to do it, you pretty much have to have a disability.
Yeah.
At that point in your life, you may have been, perfectly well and healthy your whole life, but at that point, you have a disability, and it's a special carve out for the sick, the elderly, and the disabled. We say, if you are suicidal, we give. And you're healthy, we give all kinds of prevention and try to stop you. But if you're one of the sick, elderly, or disabled, you're encouraged.
Yeah. No, that's I had a mother that lived with me or my sister right until the end, and she was 97, and she sort of was just waiting for God to take her, but we never thought about things like that. She never asked about things. I kept saying that we're waiting to see if you're going to hit 100. And then all of a sudden there was just 1 week when she just passed away gradually. But it was nice to be able to have her with me at that time, I thought. I mean, I don't see how, well, I guess it's greed in a way, because especially if there's money involved with it.
Well, the people who, believe it or not, are at the most risk are seniors with money, middle class and above, because it provides an ulterior motive, for somebody who'd like to get their inheritance.
Sure. If it's only the house, maybe even, huh?
Well, believe it or not, it's a bit, elder abuse, financial elder abuse is a big deal in this country.
Oh, yeah.
And this is just another way, another fatal form.
But I guess I thought it was a little more ironclad that you had a power of attorney for medical or financial decisions. And it sounds like they can convince her, that it's time.
As long as you are not declared incompetent, you are in charge. So you can say, even though you're bullied, you can say, and your power of attorney might disagree, but they don't have any power until you're declared incompetent.
Okay. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, is this the only kind of bill that you're after, or are you after some others just on elder care?
For the most part, I've been working exclusively in this. There's a lot going on. There's about 25 bills each year in the various states trying to pass these kind of laws. So I'm pretty busy with the one topic. And I also try to help. I'm on the international EPC International Board, and I try to help people that are in other countries that are having that. Canada, they have euthanasia up there.
Yeah.
And I talked to a doctor friend up there yesterday, and he says in Quebec they're euthanizing people for psychiatric problems.
Oh, really?
Perfectly healthy people.
No kidding.
Yeah.
What do they? How do they do it? How do they convince them?
Well, I know in Belgium they've been doing this for a while.
Yeah.
But in Canada, they just have to. The psychiatrist just has to say, we don't think they're going to get better, and they're in unbearable suffering, and so.
And it's not medical. It might be just emotional.
Just emotional. Yeah, it's not medical, because if it was medical, it wouldn't need to go under psychiatric.
I see.
So it's really a form of abandonment.
Yes, it is. It's terrible how some people think. And I guess in Europe, it's more, well, the country knows better in a way. I mean, the socialist aspect that they have, they think that there's always somebody who knows better than you what should happen.
Yeah, and I think it's kind of a controlling issue, eliminate those who cost money.
Yeah.
They say it's voluntary, and sometimes it is, but the door is open for it not to be voluntary. The other thing that really bothers me is that this really isn't about the individual's choice. This is about giving the doctor the right to make people dead.
Right.
And the government, it's giving the government the right to decide whose life is valuable and whose can be killed. And very dangerous power for the government to have.
And that's the way we're sort of sliding in a lot of areas, I think, here that I'm worried about. I mean, in the United States, we always thought, you had control. You were a person that could control their life to a good extent. But everything we're doing now is saying that Big Daddy government or Big Daddy somebody knows better.
Yep.
And you can't argue with that. And I want to see that turned around. I agree. Looking at some of those people that are on TV in the last couple of days, all they want to do is have the power to control the people. And that's not the way people in the United States want to live, from my understanding.
No. Live free or die, or New Hampshire.
Right. That's a good expression, in my opinion.
I think he was way ahead of his time in that thinking.
I don't think he imagined it be this bad, with all the controls that are coming in and how you don't have a choice anymore. And you should have a choice. In fact, that's a choice not to have any of this stuff if you want to live that way and take your chances. You can't, one thing doesn't fit all. And that's one thing that bothers me, that they try to put everybody in the same box. And we have lots of boxes for different people. I mean, you and I are probably in different boxes too.
Well, the thing is, you can already kill yourself. Yeah. I don't recommend it. I try to stop anybody that I knew was going to, but you can do it. And so you don't need government involved in that. And when the government gets involved, and it changes the dynamics. I know several people have been denied medical treatments or prescriptions where this has become legal. It's something about the mentality changes. Yeah. Because if a certain percentage of people, the cure is euthanasia, then they stop looking to cure people. Yeah. But one of the girls, she needed a prescription to stay alive, and they told her no. She was getting it. I think she was getting it before the law went into effect in California. When it went into effect, they said, no, you can't get that anymore. And, you know, she's very upset, and she says, well, does it cover assisted suicide? And they looked, and they said, oh, yes, that would be a $1.24 copay. Yeah.
Oh, my, it's just so easy, huh? And that says you can't get what you need, but you can get this one and say bye-bye.
Yep.
Oh, boy. So I imagine you've heard a lot of sad tales of some of these things that have occurred, and
Yes.
have a list of them. Is there anything somebody could do if they wanted to talk to you about this, or anything, how to contact you?
Yes. Our website is on,
Okay.
I think it's
should
going to be on
it'll
the...
be on the back of the... but is there, and there's a phone number in there too, or not, or just an email with contact?
You can give them my email number, my email address, if they want to, you know, email me and get some more information.
Okay.
Or share something. If you know of a story of assisted suicide that went wrong or something, please share it with me.
Okay, so you have, is that B, Elliot? Or is that,
No, Ann.
Oh, it is N. That's why I put my glasses on.
Yes.
I wasn't seeing. N. Elliot at Euthanasia USA.org. Okay. N. Elliot, that's NELLIOTT at euthanasia.org.
Yep.
Good, and hopefully people will be talking to you and maybe help you, get you some more cases and stuff like that.
Well, that would be good. You know, they claim there's no abuse.
Mm-hmm.
We do have quite a few cases of abuse, but everything's sealed.
Mm-hmm.
So there's, you know, unless somebody tells me their story, we don't know. We don't know. You know.
And what reason do they say a sealing is needed? They don't want anybody to know that you did that. Is that it, or that?
You know, I find that interesting that they want to seal it. They don't want anybody to know. And
I just wondering how they justified it. You know, it just seems straight.
I don't know how they do, and I don't know how legislators fall for it, because death certificates are very important. Accuracy gives a lot of information to researchers
Definitely.
and stuff, and this is going to make research skewed as far as how long the progression of certain illnesses are, because it's going to show 6 or a year earlier than would be the true projection. So
it's I don't know how those laws work. I thought it would be harder to do, to I guess just make sure that when the law's written you say that. And well, anyway, what's your next thing that you're going to be doing there?
Oh my, you know, I don't have any real plans.
Okay.
But probably gearing up. Most of the bills are done. There's one going on in Massachusetts. But after that one, I think we won't have any more bills until next January.
Okay.
So, you know, we're open to speaking engagements and that kind of thing.
But you're still trying to build up the background and getting more people together to fight against some of these things?
We're trying to get the message out that this is dangerous, and a lot of people aren't seeing it. You know, they're just thinking, I wouldn't do that, that's crazy talk, and and moving on. But you know, there's more to it than just...
And your case history show that people sort of use their influence and stuff to get people to think along these lines?
Well, I found, you know, I've worked with, like my mother, she's a senior, and other people that when they get that age, they're very agreeable to things that they don't want to do. And, you know, I just think it's a danger to put something out there. I mean, you could be a senior in a nursing home, and the nurse might talk you into it.
Right.
And they don't have to tell the family. So you could go in one day and they could say, "Oh yeah, your mom did assisted suicide. She didn't want you to know." And you would have no say in helping to protect her.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. You're really opening up a lot of doors for me, anyway, of how this has expanded. So you have no idea what the statistics are. Really, it's just that you're hearing things, and it's increasing, basically.
It is increasing. It's still a small number that are actually doing it. They have been in small states. They've got California now, so I suspect we'll see larger numbers. But Canada, they have only had it for a few years, and they're up to thousands every year.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
How about Europe? How long have they had it?
Well, the only ones that have it are Belgium, and
Netherlands?
the Netherlands, and Switzerland has assisted suicide. They don't have, Belgium and the Netherlands are euthanasia. Luxembourg, I believe, has it.
Okay, that's all.
And I think that's the only ones.
Okay.
But quite a few people are still dying over there.
Yeah.
They're in the thousands over in Belgium. And
Yeah, I've been over there. It's the attitude that you really don't have control over your body or your life as much as you think you do.
No, Belgium and the Netherlands euthanize children.
Yeah. Really?
Children.
These people are suffering, and then the parents are the ones that decide they had too much, or anybody?
Parents, but also they call them a mature minor. So you know how around here we have the girls can sign up for their own abortion. It's kind of like they can do that there. And
decide to end their life.
Yeah.
Oh.
And they had a girl over there. She was a young woman in her 20s. She had psychiatric disability,
Yeah.
But she, I've seen her in video. She talks, and she was very functioning, and they euthanized her because she was depressed.
Yeah, I know that depression can cause a lot of things for people to kill themselves. I've had families experience like that in that area, but the fact that now it's, I guess, more easier to do it.
Well, certainly doctors and government shouldn't be helping people with suicide ideology.
Right, right. Well, good luck on your continuing work on this. I think it's something that's very worthwhile, and hopefully you get more support to help you. So you're not traveling the world and doing this, but that might hopefully it's effective.
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.